Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video, there's a few things to negotiate about. So I am going to be giving you the latest news on Jadon Sancho. I have been talking with you about Jadon Sancho on a regular basis. Then I'm going to be talking with you a bit more about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As you all know, I have done two videos today. So anyway, let's start with the news on Jadon Sancho. So, reportedly, the Borussia Dortmund sporting director has come out and said that Jadon Sancho can leave Borussia Dortmund as long as, we are determined to meet Borussia Dortmund's asking price. Now, Borussia Dortmund have said that they want around £116 million for Jadon Sancho. We've said several times that, we are not willing to smash our transfer record for Jadon Sancho. I think it's recently said that we're only willing to pay either 60 or 70 million pounds for any player. And it did say we're not willing to spend any more than the £89 million that we paid for Paul Pogba back in 2016. There was recent stories coming out saying that we're only willing to pay £50 million for Jadon Sancho. But obviously, that's not going to be nowhere near enough to convince Borussia Dortmund to offload him. Solskjaer, by the way, has sent a message to Jadon Sancho saying that Man United is the club he wants to sign for. I think Solskjaer has got one concern regarding the Jadon Sancho transfer. And that's because of Mason Greenwood. Maybe, us signing Jadon Sancho, could it have an effect on, Mason Greenwood's development? I think, us signing Jadon Sancho then puts Daniel James's position at the club under threat. We could actually, end up loaning Daniel James out, if we was to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer transfer window. Now, Borussia Dortmund have recently said that, they are now looking for replacements for Sancho because they've come to accept the fact that he does want to leave. Of course, it said recently that Borussia Dortmund had set their deadline for Sancho, and it says we've got until the 10th of August to sign the player. And obviously, if we don't sign him by the 10th of August, Borussia Dortmund did say that the deal is off. It also says that we could sell up to 6 players to fund the move for Jadon Sancho. Now, don't forget, a couple of weeks ago, like I've already updated you on a regular basis, it said that Jadon Sancho has agreed personal terms with Man United. It also says he has agreed a 5-year contract with a football club worth around £140,000 a week. This was stemming from Ian McGarrett and Duncan Castles, but no fee has yet come to an agreement between us and Borussia Dortmund. It's Borussia Dortmund's asking price that seems to be the stumbling block. Now, there was also stories coming out back in February saying that Jadon Sancho had agreed almost every little detail of a move to Man United, but again, the only thing that hadn't been agreed is the fee. So like I've said, the fee is definitely, the stumbling block. Fabrizio Romano, he's spoken about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga quite a few times, and he did reveal a while back that we've been in negotiations with Jadon Sancho's agent for quite some time, and we've also, been working on his contract. Now, don't forget last month, the Borussia Dortmund CEO came out and said that he's convinced that Sancho will stay at Dortmund because no club's willing to meet their valuation. But on the other side of things, you had Lucien Favre, the Borussia Dortmund boss. He said last month that Sancho could still leave Borussia Dortmund in the summer transfer window. But, Jadon Sancho is our number one priority target. We first expressed our interest in him in 2017. Quite a few weeks ago now, there was talks of Sancho making a return to Manchester City. Well, he was open to returning to Man City because we've been struggling to meet Borussia Dortmund's asking price. Sancho is a former Manchester City player. He endured 2 years with Manchester City, but the main explanation why he left Manchester City is because he did not get any first team opportunities. Dortmund only paid £8 million for him. So they got him for next to nothing. But obviously, this has been now Sancho's third season at Dortmund, and analysing, his performances in the few years he's been with them, his valuation has persistently grown. He has still got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. We've already made a promise to Sancho that we are willing to offer him the number 7, because, we have got number 7 vacant at the moment, and, we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations and all of that. And I've already outlined the reasons, why I want Jadon Sancho at Manchester United is because he is well proven in the Premier League. He's also got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. And, this is, why I'd take him at Manchester United. Also can score goals. He's good on and off the ball. And he's also very, very good at creating chances. But I believe we're the only team that are in for Sancho now. Like I said, Liverpool are no longer in for him, Chelsea were in for him, but they're no longer in for him now. Jadon Sancho was a boyhood Chelsea fan. So I think, we're actually, the only team that's in for him. But I think Jadon Sancho did reveal if he leaves Borussia Dortmund, then his preferred option is a move to Manchester United. It said a while back, us qualifying for the Champions League could give us a better chance of getting Sancho on the board. But it said if we don't qualify for the Champions League, then maybe, we could miss out on the player. Borussia Dortmund have let quite a few of their players go to the Premier League in recent years, and there's also players that they've let go who didn't, go to the Premier League. But on the other hand, Dortmund have recruited quite a few players in recent years. In recent years and that. But we are looking at alternatives to Jadon Sancho, and I will make an admission, he is cheaper solutions than Sancho. We've recently been looking at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. He'd probably be available for around 40 or maybe 50 million pounds. It'd be 40 or the 50 odd million pound range. My only element of concern about Ousmane Dembele is that he is injury prone. This has been Ousmane Dembele's third season with Barcelona. I think he's still got a few years left on his contract with Barcelona. Barcelona did pay around £96 million for him up front. There was like 40 odd million in add-ons, so the deal was like worth around 135 million. But Ousmane Dembele is on that list as one of the most expensive signings. So we've been looking at Ousmane Dembele as an alternative to Sancho. Recent weeks we've been looking at Figo Almeida. We've also been looking at Rabbi Matondo from Schalke and that. But yeah, I can't assure that we're going to get Jadon Sancho, but I still, there is a chance, that we could get him on the board, It's Borussia Dortmund's asking price, I think we're trying as hard as we can, try and convince them, to lower their asking price for Sancho. But maybe if we was to wait until next summer, it'd cost less than £115 million, he really, really would. So anyway, that's the latest news on Jadon Sancho. Obviously, there's been a lot of players on our agenda. You already know the news regarding Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is one of our priority targets. I think if Aston Villa do get relegated, then Jack Grealish will definitely leave. But even if they were to stay up, I still think Jack Grealish will leave Aston Villa. I think he's valued at around £50 million. This morning, of course, I give you the news on Milan Skriniar from Inter Milan. There were stories coming out from 2O Sports saying that we've put a £58 million bid in for him. It also says that Manchester City are interested in Milan Skriniar because they're in search for a centre-half because John Stones and Otamendi's futures are uncertain. And City are looking for a replacement for Vincent Kompany. And don't forget they had Laporte out injured earlier on in the season. But, we've put a £58 million bid in for him. But, we've got 7 centre-halves in the team. We've got Harry Maguire, we've got Victor Lindelof, we've got Bailly, we've got Tuan Zebe, we've got Phil Jones, we've got Smalling and Rojo that are out on loan. So there's a lot of centre-halves at Manchester United. You've got Fosu Mensah that can also operate as a centre-half. So, yeah. Anyway, let me speak with you now a bit about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come out and warned Manchester United against complacency ahead of our game tomorrow night against Southampton. against Southampton. And he's basically, said that we need to remain focused. Because I don't think it's going to be an easy game tomorrow night against Southampton, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Because, like I said on my preview and that, Southampton have been in a good vein of form. I think, since that 9-0 loss to Leicester, Southampton, have really, really done well. Because earlier on in the season, Southampton, were facing a relegation battle, and it looked like, Ralph Hasenhüttl, was going to get sacked as Southampton manager. And they're unbeaten in their last 3 league games. They recently drew with Everton 1-1. Of course, they've beaten Manchester City recently as well. So, it's not going to be an easy game. We've got a good record against Southampton. We are unbeaten in our last 8 games against them. The last time we lost to Southampton was back in 2016, and that was under Louis van Gaal era. I think Charlie Austin had scored the goal. The game earlier on the season at St Mary's was 1-1, like I mentioned. And the game at Old Trafford last season was 3-2. So it was a very, very tight affair in the game at Old Trafford last season. Probably Southampton's expectations will be to finish mid-table, because I think they're sitting 12 at the moment. But yeah, so he's warned Man United's Solskjaer, against complacency for the game tomorrow against Southampton. Like I said to you as well, Solskjaer's confirmed he will be going with an unchanged side. In the last 4 league games, he's gone with an unchanged side. So if he's to go with an unchanged side tomorrow against Southampton, it will be the first time we've gone with the exact same team in 5 games in a row since February 1993. Of course, we are in a good vein of form at the moment. We are unbeaten in our last 17 games in all competitions, and we are unbeaten in our last 10 Premier League games. And, this is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. Reflect on that win against Aston Villa recently. We beat them 3-0. Reflect on that win, yeah. We became the first team in Premier League history to win 4 consecutive games by 3 or more goals. And, there's no reason why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would want to make any rotation in the squad, because, this 11 he's been going with recently, has been doing really, really well. The only injuries we have got is at the moment is Phil Jones and Alex Tuanzebe. They're the only injuries that Manchester United have got right now. But apart from that, we have got a fully fit squad. Of course, Solskjaer's been talking a lot about Mason Greenwood recently. And, he did say he's been talking a lot about Mason Greenwood recently. And he said that Man United are not worried about Mason Greenwood burning himself out. Because recently, Mason Greenwood's been getting a lot of starts, hasn't he? But he's been in scintillating form. Mason Greenwood's got 16 goals for the football club this season in all competitions. Don't forget Solskjaer recently said that Mason Greenwood's ready to play for England at senior level. Probably will get called up by Gareth Southgate. But earlier on the season, the vast majority of Mason Greenwood's appearances, came from that substitutes bench. But this has been his first full season in the senior squad. So he's talking a lot about Mason Greenwood. Obviously, Solskjaer has said Manchester United's plans for next season, transfer strategy and pre-season plans are all up in the air because of the uncertainty of how the current campaign will finish. But there is a lot of uncertainty regarding the summer transfer window. I think I'm unsure at the moment what our transfer budget's going to be. Solskjaer did say a few weeks ago that he doesn't know how much he's going to get to spend because of the financial impacts of the coronavirus pandemic. Solskjaer has told Ed Woodward the 3 positions, in the squad he wants to strengthen up. And Solskjaer said to Ed Woodward he wants to recommend a striker in. He also wants to recommend the right winger in. And he's also looking to recommend a centre defensive midfielder in, because there is still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. Solskjaer's also been talking about Rashford recently. He's been very, very happy with Marcus Rashford since the resumption of the season. Of course, Marcus Rashford has scored 1 goal since the resumption of the season. But like I said, earlier on in the season, Marcus Rashford was a big miss because don't forget he was out with that back injury, was Rashford. But definitely Rashford is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. Is there a possibility chance that Rashford's role at the football club could get changed? But I've been, very, very impressed with him. But yeah, it won't be an easy game against Southampton. Win this game against Southampton, we will extend our unbeaten run to 18 games in all competitions. And, I think we can go unbeaten for the remainder of the season. We've only got 4 games now remaining in the Premier League. And we've got points to prove against the teams that we struggled against earlier on in the season because, like I said, we didn't beat Southampton in the reverse fixture. We lost to Palace 2-1 early on in the season. That's after the Southampton one. And West Ham, second to last game of the season, we lost to them earlier on in the season by 2 goals to 0. And Solsjaker recently demanded maximum points. Yeah, so we are going to definitely finish the season on a high. Like I said, there's a great chance now we can get third. Well, I think if we win all our 4 remaining games, we will get a third place finish because Chelsea did lose to Sheffield United yesterday by 3 goals to 0. But minimum, we want to finish in the top 4 because we want Champions League qualification for next season. And Solskjaer was recently talking about the importance of the Champions League. If we get Champions League qualification, does that have an impact on our transfer business? I presume we'll generate money if we get qualification for the Champions League. But I'm very, very convinced we're going to do it. We're only 2 points behind Chelsea, 1 point behind Leicester at the moment. Leicester are currently playing now, though I think they are playing Bournemouth. But like Solskjaer said, there's quite a few teams battling it out for 3rd and 4th. We're also focusing on the FA Cup and the Europa League because that's a chance for us winning 2 trophies this season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And if we could win both of them, or at least one of them, it would be memorable. First full season for Solskjaer because this has been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at Manchester United. We are into the semi-finals of the FA Cup. We've got Chelsea. I'm really, really looking forward to that game. We're more or less into the last 8 of the Europa League because we are 5-0 up against Lask from the first leg. Don't forget, recently the Europa League quarter-final draw was made. We've either got Istanbul Başakşehir or Copenhagen in the quarter-finals, and the quarter-finals will be played on the 10th and the 11th of August. We've still got to play the second leg against Lask, and I think that's on the 5th of August. But I think we're emerged as one of the favourites to win the Europa League. But we want to get some silverware on the board because, we haven't won any silverware since 2017, and that was under the Jose Mourinho era when we won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Obviously, won the FA Cup back in 2016 under the Louis van Gaal era. So we've only won 3 trophies, since Ferguson's retirement. So that just indicates how inconsistent we have been for several years. Like I said, we have taken a £140 million loan to obviously help us get the right calibre players into the football club in the summer transfer window. This loan had been confirmed before the resumption of the season. Our net debt is just over 429 million. Because don't forget the other month when our financial figures had been revealed, it said our debt had risen up by almost £130 million. So there's a lot of uncertainty regarding the summer transfer window. The transfer strategy is unknown, but obviously earlier on in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career, this was before the coronavirus pandemic, he said he wanted to recruit young British talents to Manchester United. 3 of the 5 players that he has brought in so far, of course, are British. But like I said, even if we weren't to get qualification for the Champions League, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager next season. Because I said he does deserve at least another season because it is a transition period and it has been a transition period for a while. Like I said earlier on in the season, Solskjaer was really, really close to getting the sack. Earlier on in the season, we'd enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years, and at that point there was talks of Mauricio Pochettino coming in, and there was also talks of Massimiliano Allegri coming in and that. And the results weren't going our way earlier on in the season. But I already given you the main explanation, why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't get sacked as Manchester United manager and that. But like I said, the vast majority of these players are not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. Like I said, he's inheriting players either from the Jose Mourinho era, he's inheriting players either from the Louis van Gaal era, still matter even from the David Moyes era. There's still some players even from the Ferguson era he's inheriting, but the vast majority of this team is actually Jose Mourinho's. So let's also put that into the equation. But in the last 7 years, we spent close to the £1 billion range on players, and we've recruited over 30 odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. This also includes, what we spent so far under Solskjaer. Like I said, Solskjaer's brought 5 players in so far and spent just over £200 million on them. So let's just put that into the equation. But yeah, like I said, Solskjaer has been at the football club now for 18 months, so he's been here a year and a half. Like I said, Solskjaer's been permanent Manchester United manager for around 15 months. We give Solskjaer the job permanently, reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Solskjaer, has got big decisions to make in the summer transfer window. What players he's going to get rid of. He's looking at the incomings, but he's also got to focus on the outgoings. I think we're going to get rid of at least 5 players in the summer transfer window. Like I've said to you before, I think David De Gea is going to remain our number 1 goalkeeper for next season as well, because a lot of Man United fans said they want David De Gea to be remain our number 1 for next season, but he's been our number 1 goalkeeper for several years. This has been David De Gea's 9th season at Man United. He's approaching his 10th year at the football club. Analysing it, I think David De Gea's had a good 7 years out of the 9 years he's been at Manchester United, because in the last couple of years he's been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. Solskjaer has recently a few weeks ago, he was talking about Dean Henderson, and he says that Dean Henderson is not yet ready to become Man United's number 1 goalkeeper, but he did say he will be Man United's number 1 goalkeeper and England's number 1 goalkeeper in the future. Probably means the foreseeable future. Dean Henderson's out on loan at the moment with Sheffield United, and this has been his 2nd season on loan with Sheffield United. He's had quite a few loan spells, with Stockport, Grimsby, Shrewsbury. We got Dean Henderson from Carlisle back in 2011. We got him as a 14-year-old. But yeah, Luke Shaw's going to remain our first choice left back. I'm not too sure for next season if he's going to remain our first choice left back. We've got Brandon Williams at left back, but obviously, Luke Shaw is more experienced than Brandon Williams. There has been stories coming out saying that we could actually axe Luke Shaw because we're actually interested in getting Ben Chilwell in from Leicester, like I updated you yesterday. Ben Chilwell is a left back. Leicester do value Ben Chilwell at around £60 million. Would you take him at Manchester United? So yeah, like I said to you as well, Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the football club. I think over 20 players have left Man United since Solskjaer came in. We've also extended a lot of players' contracts since he came in as well. Like I said to you though, we are still facing a dilemma regarding the contracts, because we've got 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. So Solskjaer's got to make a decision on those 8 players. And like I said to you, Solskjaer's given more or less everyone their chances at the club. Because when he first got appointed in as Manchester United manager, he did say everybody will get their chances to express themselves. And, he's promoted the youth very, very well this season, because, the young players have been given their opportunities and that. Our record against the top 6 sides this season's been very, very good. We've taken 18 points against the top 6 sides this season. We really, really have. But yeah, so there's definitely no positives to take from his tenure. like I said, we haven't dominated English football since the Alex Ferguson era. Like I said, Ferguson endured 26 years at Manchester United, endured 22 years of success because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. And Ferguson, did win a total of 38 major honours, including 13 Premier League titles. So we are the most successful team in England at the moment. We are, because we have won 20 titles in total. But like I said to you before, no one will replicate Ferguson's legacy at the club, and no one will last as long as Ferguson did. But I think we can be competitive now. Back being competitive under Solskjaer. In the last 7 years, like I said to you, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We've obviously, had Moyes, we've had Van Gaal, we've had Jose Mourinho since the Ferguson era. They've all been sacked, and Solskjaer's our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. And like I said, people say reflect on the money we've spent, we should be where Liverpool are, or minimum, where Manchester City are. But, we are not. We are not. And like I said, we've got long-serving players at the football club now. We've also had long-serving players at Manchester United before. But yeah, and like I said to our expectations next season will be to challenge for the Premier League title. Because this has been the 7th season now we have failed to mount any kind of title challenge up. I really, really do think next season we'll be up there challenging. Could take us a few years, to win another title. I think we'll win a title under Solskjaer, and, if we can do this, it will be our 21st title in total. It will be our 21st title in total. But yeah. So that's mainly everything to update you with on this video. Obviously, my video that I did this morning, I give you the worst signings Manchester United have made in the last 10 years. Because like I said to you, we've recruited over 30 odd players in since the Ferguson era. And I think a lot of the players that we have brought in haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. Also, too, on the other hand, there's maybe some players that we've brought in who we've got rid of who we shouldn't have got rid of. A prime example, Lander Herrera, shouldn't have really got rid of him. Romelu Lukaku, shouldn't have really got rid of him in that. But I went through that with you this morning. On my second video I did, don't forget I give you Man United's best players since the resumption of the season. I also spoke with you how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's improved Manchester United and that. Because I did mention, Solskjaer's decision-making now has improved. He's making the right decisions. Earlier on in the season, he was making a lot of wrong decisions, wasn't there? He didn't really have a plan A. Didn't really have a plan B. Like I said, Solskjaer now knows his best 11. I think he also knows the best formation to go with as well. So, yeah. So that's what I've been speaking with you about today on my recent videos. And another good thing, Solskjaer is gaining more managerial experience. Reflecting how long he's been with us. Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He did well there, to be fair, won a few Norwegian titles. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. Enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. Solskjaer got sacked from Cardiff because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. And all of that. But like I said, we've been very critical of, a lot of things in the last 6 or 7 years, being critical of, Ed Woodward. We've also been critical of the Glazers, and we've also been very, very critical of our board. But, there's obviously, explanations behind it, don't get me wrong. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.